So today I'm gonna do a run into town, primarily to fill my propane tank. Now, I've learned through trial and error that for me, instead of having one or two big tanks, it's better for me to have multiple small ones. So I have a total of 4 20-pound propane tanks. 2 of them sit on my tongue and are hooked into the trailer system, which includes the furnace, and it also includes an outlet that's hooked up to my Blackstone grill. I have one that is hooked up to the Wave 3 catalytic heater that I have is supplemental heat inside my rig. And then I have a 4th one that's hooked to my propane fire pit. Now, all these things use propane at varying rates. So whenever I run out of propane in one, I always have another tank that I can swap out if it's important. For example, if it's the supplemental heat that runs out, I can grab one of the 2 that I have in the attached to the trailer on the tongue, or I can just take the one that's on the fire pit. It's less, both are less crucial. And then the next day I can take in the 1 20-pounder, have it filled, replace it in the system, and I never run the risk of completely running out of propane. So why is that important? It's important because it's happened to me in the past. For the prior rig, I had 2 30-pound propane tanks, and they're usually set up when one's empty. If you have it set up correctly, it automatically switches to the second, and I wasn't paying attention, and it was winter time, and it was cold, and I completely ran out of propane on a very cold night, and I ended up pretty uncomfortable until I could get out the next day and refill my tanks, and I really didn't want to have that circumstance again. Here's the other reason for the small ones. When you're traveling, it is sometimes difficult to find propane places that will fill your tanks, but it's very easy to find a place that will exchange a 20-pound tank with you. So if you're only using 20-pound tanks, you can do that swap out at convenience stores, at Home Depot, Tractor Supply. I mean, it goes on and on and on. The places, gas stations and places that have a station where you can just swap out that 20-pound tank. So I remember watching Nomadic Fanatic, where he was, I think it was Nebraska or some state where it was in the winter, it was freezing, and the poor guy could not find a place to fill his tanks. So he had a very uncomfortable few days. So that's another reason for having multiple 20-pound tanks. If I had a 30-pound tank, you can't exchange that anywhere. You have to find a place that fills propane. So there's more than one option here to fill propane. There's several in town. And I've been using RV Pit Stop in a couple of years now. And someone said to me this year, not someone, but several someones said to me this year, you really need to go to Patty's RV. They're the best price in town, and their service is great. They're really bending over backwards to get business. And so I've been there twice, been very impressed. So I figured this time I would go, and I'll show you how easy it is to get propane at Patty's RV Park. And Patty's is on Main Street, and I'm heading north into Quartzsite on Central or 95. It's anonymous. I'm going to make a right up here, and I'm going to head east on Main Street. So if you're coming south, you'll make a left on Main, still and east. If you're on Main Street coming from the west, you just go straight through. And Patty's is on the right-hand side, a little bit past the Coyote Fresh and Family Dollar. I think it's Family Dollar. It's a dollar store. When we get there, I'll mention which one it is. I often get, there are two of them, one on West Main, one on East Main. Slightly different names, but they're both dollar stores. So here we are on Main Street. I am going to hang right here. The other similar thing I do is with my water. Instead of, I do have a large bladder that I can fill up with water and bring to my trailer and put, like, I think it's 32 gallons, and it's kind of a pain in the neck. So I've switched to, I have a 6-gallon water carrier, and every time I'm in town, I fill up that 6 gallons. It's $1.25 at the places that I go, and I throw that $6 into the tank, and I probably go into town 3 or 4 times a week. So 4 times a week, that's 24 gallons. So and it's not expensive. It's not very difficult to do. I don't have to use my big bladder, and I don't have to pull my trailer somewhere to fill the water. So here we are, Patty's, 5 miles per hour, and it looks like we're going to get in line, depending on what this guy's doing. Yep, there's a guy in front of me. So if you have an RV, you go to the left. If you have a car, you go to the right. So we got a little bit of a line here. So I'm going to talk while we wait, but I probably will edit it out since I can't think of anything very fascinating I have to say. So it's a Sunday afternoon, about 2:30. This is the busiest I've seen it. He's telling me to come to the left. So he's having me violate the sign, which is okay. He waved me over, I swear. Hi. It's in the back.
Okay. Hey, Bo.
So they're happy to, we tell them where it is, they'll go get it. Fill it up, put it back, and they'll come up and tell me how much I owe. I can't see a sign from here. I don't know whether they take credit cards, but when I pay, I'm paying cash. But I'll ask them. So, like I said, I'm leaving this running and talking, and I'll probably edit it somehow. But one of the reasons I'm going to let it run is I'm going to time how long it takes from me pulling up until I'm pulling away. Not that that's that. When you're retired, it's not that important how long you wait for something. It's not a big deal. But some people are in a hurry. It might be important to some people how long it takes.
$15.75.
Do you take credit cards too? Just
Yes,
out of
we do.
curiosity?
Yes.
Okay. So
Your
they
dog
do
want a
take credit
biscuit?
cards. Yeah, she'd love a biscuit. So it was $15.75 for an empty 20-gallon tank. I didn't see that. There you go, Dottie. You're getting a biscuit.
Here, I'm gonna put it right here. Maybe you want it later.
Thank you
later.
so much. Appreciate
No doubt.
it. All right.
Hi, baby.
All right. that did not take long. So now I'm going to take some of my change, in particular a $1 bill and a quarter, and we're going to go up and fill my 6-gallon water container. So you notice in town there's many places that you can get water. You can fill your containers. Some of them are vending machines. I think the brand name is Glacier, and they're more expensive than where I'm going. I think it's over $2 for what I would need, 6 gallons. And where I'm going, up Central, is a kiosk that it's $1.25 for 6 gallons. Also, they have I can pull up next to it. I don't have to carry it to the machine. I can put the hose in the car, fill it up. With these Glacier machines, you really can't do that. You have to kind of put your container in the machine. But we're going north up here on Central, and I think it's 3/4 of a mile. I didn't measure it, but I'll tell you the landmark to look for is when you see this place up here, the Arizona Financial, get ready to make a turn because it's in a parking lot right up here. And there's a blue, you see the blue building there. And I'm going to go to the left side of it because my container is over on the right side there. And I've got to pull up, and we'll see how long it takes me to fill my water. You know, I was saying I was going to use $1 bill. They don't take dollar bills. They only take change. So I got to dig into my laundry money and get me 5 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarters. No, I'm off camera here. You might be able to hear the water going in, but hopefully you can hear me. One of the things you got to watch out for in these is you want to take the hose, open it up, and make sure everything's drained out. Because if you don't do that and the system thinks it hasn't finished dispensing the last amount of water, you could potentially waste the money that you put in. So make sure it's empty. Kind of a common courtesy thing to do is if you put in, say I put in for 6 gallons, for some reason I only use 5, there's a bunch left. If there's someone behind me, I'll say, hey, there's water left in here on my dime, so be sure to take it before you put your money in. Just common courtesy. Your fellow travelers, fellow nomads, right, Dottie? Minor mystery is sometimes I'll put in 5 quarters for 6 gallons, and it'll fill my container up right to the top as it should. My container says 6 US gallons, and sometimes it'll start overflowing. So I don't know, and it's at this station it happens. So maybe sometimes it gives you a little extra, sometimes a little less. Who knows? Minor mystery. And there we go. I am full. So it has taken however long there I'll post how long it took just to get my water when there's no waiting. And so those are the errands I need to do in Quartzsite today. And actually, what I'm about to do is meet some friends at a place called Beer Bellies. I won't be drinking beer. I don't drink beer, but I'll be drinking, maybe I'll splurge and get a soda. And they have pretty good hamburgers. I haven't eaten lunch today, so I'll get a hamburger there, listen to some live music, and visit with some friends. And I'll do a couple of shots of that too, so you can see what that's like. But that is over in Tyson Wells, where the big tent is in January in what I call the flea market city in Quartzsite. All the vendors and individual little tents and tables and setups everywhere. And there are a lot of very nice deals to be had in flea market city. From used things to new things to artistic things. Our friend Joan has, she finds interesting rocks and things in the desert, and she does these amazing paint jobs on it. I have two of them that I bought from her. One isn't a rock; it's kind of it's a little bowl that she's painted in the same manner that she paints the rocks. But I have both those things on my desk back home in the trailer, and I enjoy looking at that very much. So she's an example of, one of the artists that are here selling their wares, and there's all kinds of interesting folks in Quartzsite. And the closer we get to the big tent, to the peak of the season, the more interesting it gets. So here's Kuehn Street. That's Kuehn, Kuehn Street. And that's where all this happens. Here, I'm going to be making a right up here. And you can't see it. Maybe you can see a little tiny chunk of it in the corner there. There is a big firewood. It's called Good Guys Firewood. And that's where you can buy your firewood if you want to have campfires out in the desert. Because I've said this before, I'll remind everybody again, if you've already heard it, you cannot burn stuff that you find in the desert. It's not legal. You have to bring in your own wood. And Beer Bellies, aka the adult daycare center, is down here, and there's usually parking down there. This time of year, I'll see if there's parking. If there isn't, we'll turn around and go back out to the street. The people I'm meeting here, I haven't seen their rig yet, so I'm not sure they're here yet. Okay, just looked in there. I didn't see their rig, but I sure as hell saw her. So, there is no parking here. So, what we need to do is go back the way we came, very slowly, nicely, and carefully. And I say that because I gotta tell you, I was in Yuma yesterday, and I have to admit I was not paying attention. I came to a traffic light that was green. I needed to make a left-hand turn, and I just made that left-hand turn without regard to, it was not a green arrow, it was just a green light, and I made that turn without paying any attention to the cross traffic. And this, I heard a horn, and then suddenly a vehicle missing me by inches, going probably 25, 30 miles an hour. And I came very close to being involved in a major traffic accident that absolutely would have been completely my fault, because I was not paying attention. See this nice little parking place here? Come January, this is never going to happen. Never going to happen. Okay, so I am going to crack a little window for Dottie Dog. And it is 64 degrees, so she should be just fine. Right, Dottie? And I'm going to take the phone with me, and I'll show you a little bit of the live music and what's going on at Beer Bellies, aka the adult daycare.
Bartender.
Oh, okay. And you are famous. It's a bartender. You don't see these very often.